Hi! Now we have created our APK. There is one last thing that we should do before we send them to our victims. So we need to sign this, and by signing I mean having a signature identifying us as a developer. So without doing this, some of the devices, actually most of the devices, won't accept this APK and won't run it. You may be able to install it on your own machine, but you won't be able to run it. So in order to avoid this problem, we're going to sign it. So you have transferred this APK to your host machine, which is maybe Windows, which is maybe Linux, or which is maybe Mac. So I'm going to show you a way to sign this. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to show you some alternatives so that you can actually do this process. So if you're on Windows, click on the Windows sign and write CMD in order to open command prompt. And if you're on Mac, just open your terminal. And if you're on Linux, of course, open your terminal as well. So we need to run some commands, and I'm going to show you what are those commands. And remember, sometimes it doesn't work. I'm going to show you some alternative ways to fix this problem or some other tools to overcome the signing issue. So this is a long command actually, so I have it on my notes. I'm going to copy and paste from my notes. And of course, I'm going to include those codes in the resources of this lecture as well. So this is the code that we are going to run. This is the command. So it uses a tool called keytool, and it generates a key store file, which is a file identifying the ID of the developer. So it will ask for some information like your name, your country, and some other stuff, and it will ask a password, as you can see. So give some password and give this password one more time, and when you see this first name, last name and stuff, you can just skip it by hitting enter. And for the last time you will see something like no, and just write yes and hit enter. So if it doesn't work for you, don't worry, I'm going to show you an alternative, remember? So this created a key store file, but since I'm not in the desktop, I should have written cd desktop and then run this command. I am in my users until Sam, so I believe it created file over here like this. So I'm going to move this file to my desktop. So it's essential that you have these two files side by side. It doesn't matter if you're on desktop or on your downloads or your own documents, just cd into that folder from your terminal, okay? So I'm going to cd into the desktop, and then later on I'm going to run the second command. So copy and paste the second command from the resources of this course, okay, from this lecture, and we are going to use this key store to sign this APK, and this jar signer tool does exactly the same. All you have to change is the name of this file. So if this is ngrok-test.apk for you, you don't even need to change that. It will ask you for your password. Just give the same password and hit enter, and now this is signed. So if it didn't work out for you, what you can do? So the reason why it might have failed for you, you need some JDK tool in order to run this jar signer, okay? JDK stands for Java Development Kit. So let me show you. Let me go to google.com. You don't have to do that right now. So let me search for JDK, and here it is. So this is Java Development Kit, and in fact, 2 lectures later on, we're going to install this to our machines. And we're going to install some IDE called Android Studio, and we're going to run some Java codes as well. But right now we don't have this. So an alternative tool is to find an APK signer on Google Play like this. As you can see, if you search for APK signer, you get a lot of results. So do that within your own Android device, okay? So search for APK signer and just download the first one that comes up. That way, if you download your APK from Files.fm to your own phone or on tablet, Android tablet, okay, and then if you use this APK with APK signer app that you have downloaded, then you will be able to do exactly the same thing that we have done with the comments, okay? This tool does exactly the same thing. So if you download this and if you download the APK, you can just sign it inside your machine as well. Then you can upload it to some kind of server or Files.fm one more time and then send it to the victim. And if you don't have any Android device at all, you can use something called emulator, a simulator, okay? An Android software that simulates the actual Android phones. And you're going to see how to use it in the next section as well. In this section, we're just warming up. We're getting you familiarized with concepts of Kali Linux, of backdoor, and of hacking as well. So we don't have Android Studio, we don't have JDK right now, so you may encounter some kind of difficulty like a jar signer thing, but you can overcome this with APK signer, obviously. After you do that, of course, you can just go to files.fm one more time or any other service and upload your signed APK. So if this doesn't work out for you, just go to the next section, download the JDK, and then try one more time. Okay? So if it did work out for you, I suggest you don't delete this key store, or if you have downloaded APK signer, don't delete that application, because we're going to use this a lot during this training. But I promise you it will work out eventually after you download JDK and SDKs of Android Studio, so don't worry about that. So let's stop here and see you in the next lecture.